So I've been looking, where is a leak? There's got to be a leak somewhere because water doesn't flow at the right pressure it should. So I was walking along here, see nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing, and then, hey, wait a minute. What was that? Look at how green the grass is here and how tall it is compared to all of the surroundings. So I bend down because I think, gee, that's quite green here. And I check, and sure enough, the valve is closed. So here's the valve. But listen. You hear that? So it's an underground leak. Gotta fix that. So because it's such a sandy soil, none of this water ever bubbled to the surface. It was always below surface and then drained below ground. Can you imagine this amount of water not coming to the surface? Well, it drained. And you see the plants here compared to right there. So sometimes the growth of grass can be an indicator of a leak. Gotta fix that. I had to fix a second leak that was in here. This pipe here had come off that joint and I had to just reset a new connector. That one's not shooting nearly as much as the previous one. I know because I put a smaller connector on there. It's got a smaller end. This valve is definitely done. Yeah, well, it's so done that it needs to be changed. Talking about updates, somebody asked me in one of the comments, oh, I'd like to see how it looks after it's roller crimped. Giselle did these a week and a half ago, and you see how tall the grass is otherwise here. This was rolled, and look at this. See? There's still some green, but mostly this grass, see how it it's about a finger depth. This grass is really laid down. There's some greenery. We haven't had any rain in 3 weeks, so this soil was dry. But this grass, once it's laid down, and it was like this. So the idea is you take the grass and it's flattened and then crimped, because the roller does rolling, but the crimping is actually pinches the stem, and when the stem gets pinched 3 or 4 times, it really dries it out. So you can see how a bunch of these are really on their way to being dried out. Hey, go see that video, roller crimping. I love this technique for the summer in our sandy soils. If we mow this, it looks like heck. It just dries out. It goes completely yellow. Nothing happens for sometimes a month and a half. No growth at all. Here we've got a great cover on the grass, on the soil. We'll have green up, a little bit of rain here, and we'll have grass coming through this in a hurry. So I won't go back to mowing like I used to. It takes a lot less horsepower to do the roller crimping. Sorry, they're working in the gravel pit next door, so you'll hear some equipment going on. You can see this grass it's pretty good in here. And this is 5 foot tall grass in here. So let's just check some of these lines, see how they're flowing. That's flowing. That's what we want to see. We want to see water going at the end, so that as soon as we pinch this, we'll build up pressure in the line. And I check them when we flush. All we do is we put our hand, and then you just check, how does it look in your hand? Does it look clean? We did some flushing, but we didn't have enough water going through. Yeah, that looks good. Nice and clean. So we don't need to keep these open. We just closed them up. This is an old irrigation system that's been here. Like I say, 1980 it was put in. Wow. And this is still cranking away. If I had to replace this old irrigation system today, it would probably cost me $30,000. I paid the farm just a little more than that for the whole farm. So some of these things, there's a cost to it, but boy, just talking about irrigation, if you want to do one thing for your orchard or your garden, put irrigation in and automate it. Automating now costs almost nothing. You can have a very simple battery-powered irrigation controller that costs $30 or $40. If you're out there watering by hand, please get yourself, put a few bucks in, get automated, so whether you're there or not, your irrigation goes on. Maybe you're irrigating. I love the idea of seeing everything. These are all controllers. If you irrigate, listen, when I see somebody watering by hand, I say, you know, there is tools out there. And these things are incredible. They even have, yeah, here's the little, this is battery ones. It runs on a battery. Look, you plug it into your hose, and you know what? This will do all your watering. Even if it's for your garden, if you have one vegetable row or bed or two, you plug this in and you can forget about watering. It will do your watering for you. There is tools for that. And this is such an improvement from, please don't hand water. These things are not expensive for what they do. They take the stress of, oh, is it gonna get watered at the right time? Is it gonna get overwatered? Miludzi was telling me how they ruined basically their watermelon crop this year because somebody forgot to turn off the valve to watering. Like what? Because it got overwatered. Hey, this stuff does it for you. It takes the brain work out of it. You just tell it, I want to water for half an hour, or I want to water for an hour once a week, or 3 times a week, or 5 times a week, and it will do it for you. You can even set up, here's a little thing that it's a rain detector. So if it rains, it shuts off your watering. It doesn't water. So please don't water by hand. There are tools that will do it for you that are not expensive for what they do. If you're putting and buying fertilizer and you're not irrigating, you've got your whole system upside down, because water is the cheapest and most important input. If your plants, like in this drought, if your plants are not getting water during a dry period and you've given them fertilizer, that fertilizer isn't doing anything. The water without fertilizer will do a whole lot more than fertilizer and no irrigation. So think about that one before you go spending money on a lot of fertilizer. Let's check another one here. Red tape on there because it didn't work well last year or this spring, so there's too many leaks in this line, so the water doesn't even get to the end. So we'll have to go through and fix some of these big leaks, because that just means by the time it gets to the end, it's used up most of its pressure. Try another one. Oh, I guess there's water getting in that one. In fact, I don't really want to open it because then beautiful water. Oh, a little dirty. I'll let it run for a bit. I can see why people got excited about water in the desert, because I consider our soil a bit like a desert area. Yeah, we get rains, but if it's not raining, it quickly turns to desert. And this soil with water, amazing what we can grow here. So that's a quick look at irrigation. I'll have Melody, who's here for a few months. I'll show her what's involved in fixing these different leaks and let her go to it. The goal for interns is to get a good look at as many things as they can see in the time they're here. And she's getting ready when she goes back to France in a few months. Next year she'll be starting her own project. So I want people to be as ready as quickly as possible to take on their own project. If you didn't see those walkabout videos, go take a look. I'm not doing a walkabout yet because I want to show you when the crop is when we start harvesting it. And so we'll have, right now the fruit are still, they're just waiting for some extra rain. They get the irrigation so the trees aren't absolutely starving for water. If you don't know if your trees are getting enough water, just look at them. They'll talk to you. You see? See this leaf? What do you think? Do you think it's getting enough water? Do you think this one leaf is getting enough water? If you look at it from the end, it's telling you. If a leaf is getting all the water it needs, it will open up completely flat. At least in apples. Most of our fruit trees, it does that. The less water it has, and these trees haven't been watered in 4 days, and it's been dry, the soil is just sand right now, then they're closing up. They're trying to reduce the amount of leaf surface that is exposed to the sun. And so they are telling you, you just look at them. Oh, look at this. Some of you know these. You say, oh, I hate these. Oh, there he goes. Japanese beetle. First year we see them here. So we'll see what they do. I'm not freaking out over them. These leaves are looking like they've got a little more water here. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Go the sandals. One of our hazelnuts that got transplanted this spring. See that? Beautiful. Not thriving, but it was a big shoot that was dug up. So, hey, it's alive. That's great. This is the 2 strips. Go see that planting for wildlife video. Here's another one. So this is a bit of an update to planting for wildlife. Some of these plants have taken off nicely. Let me see where some of the cedars. The grass has certainly grown in here, so sometimes finding the tree isn't as obvious. Here's one of the cedars. See that? So it's in there. It's in among some grass. We gave it some hay mulch originally, but it's there. It's green. It's alive. Hey, to me, that's the important thing. We did come back and put an irrigation. Here's the tree. Here's an emitter. So that's the life. That's life for this little cedar. If you're gonna plant trees and you don't know, do you know what kind of summer it's gonna be? Do you know if it's gonna be dry? Do you know if it's gonna be a drought? You don't know. This is some of the best insurance you can do for your young trees. Make sure they get water on a regular basis. So you think, oh yeah, hey, you think this one's doing well? No, this one died. So we probably cut a lot of root on that one, and I see it was the best one. So this was from our best hazelnut, and it didn't take. But you know what? Like somebody said, it happens. They don't all work. Everything doesn't survive. I'm looking at this little bud here. Almost looks like that bud is still alive, even though there's no leaves left on this tree. Sometimes, and you look at Sepp Holzer has a neat trick for getting trees to transplant where he's not going to give them any water. He actually covers the roots with a jute bag, making sure the roots are shaded and just shaded and barely moist. Thanks for watching. Intrigued? Check out the virtual tour of the permaculture orchard. Have trees already? Pruningcourse.com. Subscribe, please. Check out some of the other videos or playlists. There's more to come. Stay tuned. Bye. Like somebody said, it happens. They don't all work. Everything doesn't survive.